This video was brought to you by my beautiful Patreon community and my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much. Welcome, you 40,000 lovers of freedom and the 80% of you who haven't subscribed yet, to another installment of Movie Night with Panda. Today we have a very special treat for you because we're going to be covering not one, not two, but a gazillion Bible movies produced by Jehovah's Witnesses. And yes, they're as bad as you imagine. This religion has a long history with Bible movies. Back in 1914, when Charles Chase Russell released the photodrama of Creation, it was a technological marvel since that was the first motion picture with sound. If you grew up in this religion, you probably remember the live dramas we used to have at every convention, which involved a bunch of volunteers getting together and doing Bible cosplay.
You expect us to believe that? I swear it's true.
Yeah, it looks silly now, but this was the most exciting section of the program, okay? After hours of sitting down in a hot stadium, listening to boring talks, this was like the birthday present we never received. But since 2014, Watchtower cancelled the live dramas, and since then they have released a plethora of violent Bible movies that are shown to JW families, and I'm not exaggerating, some of this material is not suitable for children. So hold on tight, boys and girls, because we are going balls deep into the world of JW Bible fanfiction. It's gonna be intense. Remember, we're doing the cringe challenge, so if you cringe, you lose. And when you cringe, let me know the exact moment you lost it. Are you ready? Let's go. The first movie we're going to be covering today is titled Walk by Faith, Not by Sight, released in 2012 and named after 2 Corinthians 5:7. I think these 6 words are a perfect description of life in this religion. Walk by Faith, Not by Sight tells the story of 2 Christian families in Jerusalem shortly before it is destroyed by the Romans in 70 CE. Will these families heed Jesus' warning to flee to the mountains, or will their materialistic tendencies keep them in the city? The movie starts with this dude walking around Jerusalem saying that the situation in the city was getting worse, as if Jerusalem hasn't always been a volatile mess.
For those of us who became his followers, the signs of change were clearly visible.
Your taxes are due, and this will cover it.
These are my belongings. You have no right.
Hadn't the Romans been doing this shit for decades now?
It's a holy city. For the sons of Abraham.
Little did we realize how severely the quality of our faith would be tested by the events surrounding the fulfillment of those prophecies.
Then the Jews get a little too rowdy, and the Romans do what they do best: siege the hell out of the city.
What observations do you have?
Once the fulfillment of Jesus' prophecy was unmistakably identified, our first real test of faith came along.
The disgusting thing that causes desolation. Standing in the holy place.
That was an elders' meeting I would not soon forget.
Watchtower loves to apply modern JW terms to first century Christians. Apparently they had elders meetings back then, guys. I wonder if they also had judicial committees. Oh, and these characters use the name Jehovah as well, which is weird because Jehovah was invented in the 13th century by some Catholic monks.
Jehovah.
We have to trust that Jehovah has a better view of the situation than we do.
Maybe these characters traveled from the future and are actually JWs pretending to be first century Christians. Oh wait, now we get to this Rasputin-ass looking villain who is leading the Jewish revolt, and once Rome withdraws their siege, he has a brilliant idea of running after them.
They must feel the wrath of God upon their backs. Pursue them! Strike them down! As God struck the Egyptians in the Red Sea, overtake them and kill them!
Lays are pleased. They're gone. Let's be...
No! Punish them! They must never again harass the people of God! Go!
Somebody give this man an Oscar. So the faithful family decides to leave Jerusalem because they want to obey Jesus' warning. And of course, the materialistic woman wants to stay behind because she has her shop in the city, and she's materialistic because women are materialistic, right? And they're bad influences on men.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm Nahum, the wine merchant. My wife and I are leaving to visit friends in the north.
Are you feeding and clothing his family too? What's all of this?
You know how it is with women. They don't know how to travel light.
Woman, am I right?
At the time we need men most, you want to leave.
Wait, maybe he's a Christian. Apostates.
Fight for the nation.
I'll deal with him.
Please, let us pass.
Insert Jewish people who are not Christian are evil trope.
Bruh.
So now these Christians flee to the north and are having a hard time adjusting to life in the village. And after 6 months of nothing happening, the wife breaks down and suggests they should return to the city.
Out of food. We're out of money. I'm sick and tired of this place. I can't stay here, Nahum.
And you can probably tell where this is going.
Every city has its problems. Jerusalem's no different.
Still, you
Thousands of families march in and out of Jerusalem 3 times every year. They come and they go. Nothing happens. Why can't we? Just to check on things.
Nahum, my friend, we have thought and prayed about this for a long time. And it comes down to this. Either we obey a clear command from Jesus, or we don't.
This film is designed to trash on all the people that doubt that Armageddon is ever going to arrive. Nahum wants to go back to Jerusalem because he feels that maybe Jesus was wrong and maybe the end of Jerusalem is very far away, and Shebuel doesn't want to return because he feels the destruction of Jerusalem is imminent. So Watchtower wants people to be like Shebuel and live their lives as if Armageddon was to arrive tomorrow.
Jesus told us to leave Jerusalem, never indicating we should return, not even for a day. We must be obedient.
That's the message of the film, guys. Obedience. Jesus predicted Jerusalem's destruction, and that came true, so surely that means Armageddon is imminent, and we should not attend college or seek financial security because the end is just around the corner.
Undoubtedly, the final part of the last days. Shortly before the last day of the last days.
So it's time to play a little game, boys and girls. Guess what happens once Nahum returns to the city? A. He goes in and out of the city. B. He stays in the city and retakes his business. Or C. He fucking dies.
Jerusalem is like a ravenous beast that feeds on its own flesh. Factions fight one another for control, like mad dogs.
Remember that there's toddlers in the audience watching this.
Priest and worshiper alike have been slaughtered at the temple, sprinkling the altar with their own blood. There is starvation in the city too. All the food reserves were destroyed out of the jealousy of the political factions. Tens of thousands have died. Reports from the countryside say that the Roman army is burning, looting it, killing its way back to Jerusalem.
Just Romans doing what Romans do best.
They are only a few days away. wise to leave when you did. And you would be wiser still not to attempt to return anytime soon. Perhaps you and Shebuel were right, after all. I love you, Bariah.
Yeah, I think he's dead. And the other family that listened to Jesus is alive and well because, of course, they are. The message is clear, guys. Jerusalem represents the world. All these dead people represent the unbelievers who dare to try to make a good life for themselves, and the survivors represent the Jehovah's Witnesses who drank from the Kool-Aid and refused to do anything with their lives because Armageddon was just around the corner. This is fear-mongering at its worst. And these are the most graphic scenes that I've ever seen in a JW movie. And that's incredibly ironic because JW kids are super sheltered when it comes to watching movies with violence or playing first-person shooters. Watchtower often quotes this Bible verse that says Jehovah hates violence, but as we're about to see, Jehovah is more than willing to bend his own rules when it comes to destroying his enemies. But you might be wondering, Panda, do JW parents not push back against these violent movies being shown to their kids? And the answer is yes. Yes, they do. And many parents have sent letters to headquarters asking the governing body to, tune down the violence a little bit. And the response given by the governing body to this feedback, this pushback, is exactly what you would expect from some narcissistic cult leaders.
We might mention that we've had just a few parents write in expressing concern that some of our videos depict scenes that could have an effect on children who've been protected from anything even hinting at an act of violence. We very much appreciate the concern. However, when portraying a Bible account, we cannot ignore the message Jehovah saw fit to preserve in His Word. We don't feel comfortable watering down the inspired insight that Jehovah has preserved for the benefit of true worshipers. However, as you've observed, we do so as tastefully as possible. We don't show actual violent acts or bloodshed. Be assured that we'll continue to be sensitive to the feelings of you parents when we produce a video that's based on a Bible account that includes descriptions of warfare or other incidents of violent actions. We'll do so with care, while not ignoring the powerful details depicted in the inspired Word of God.
Let me summarize what he just said. In the Stephen-led voice, parents, shut up and watch our movies. Even though only one former governing body member has children, we know better than you. Your children need to be exposed to these graphic scenes of Bible violence so they're ready for Armageddon. Don't forget to donate. Bah!
When it comes to television programs that are designated for a mature audience, remember to tell yourself, I'm not old enough. I'm a young child.
Tremendous clown. So as we continue in our Vinge session, keep in mind that literal babies are watching this propaganda. Guys, even if you're a Bible believer, ask yourself, should we be showing these videos to kids? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I don't think so. So I give this movie a 4 out of 10. It's a fear-mongering mess. It looks ugly as hell. And it's wildly inappropriate. So let's move on. The Bible is packed with characters that can make for incredible films. Abraham, Moses, Samson, Elijah, David, that guy who was killed for touching the Ark of the Covenant. But Watchtower saw that list of potential stories and said, nah, let's go for a Bible character that nobody cares about. Hezekiah. Oh Jehovah, I trust in you. Yes, that's the title of the movie. A dozen people in the writing department got together and decided, yeah, that's a good title. They could have named it God's 360 No Scope or 185,000 Men, One Angel. Much better titles in my opinion. So the movie starts with the destruction of Samaria, Jerusalem's sister city, at the hands of Assyria. We get more scenes of people dying, and this Israelite manages to escape by putting on the uniform of this Assyrian soldier who dies in the goofiest way possible. Then he runs to Jerusalem to warn the city of the upcoming army. He could have saved himself a lot of trouble if he would have just sent a text message.
The Assyrians, they finally broke through the wall. They hacked off hands and arms, heads. They singled out the leading men of the city and they skinned them alive.
Just Assyrians doing what Assyrians do best.
How did you escape?
I disguised myself as one of the Assyrian soldiers.
And what of the survivors?
I didn't have time to see much, but the Assyrians were gathering people together. I suppose they were taking them as captives.
Then these dudes get together and start wondering, hey, why did Jehovah allow Samaria to be destroyed?
What happened to Samaria could happen to us.
How could Jehovah have allowed this to happen?
It happened because Samaria broke its alliance to the king of Assyria. They stopped paying the yearly tribute, just as we had.
These things came upon them because they sinned against Jehovah.
The king is right. From King Omri's day, the people in Samaria have served false gods.
That may be
they
true,
openly practiced idolatry.
Yeah, it's because they worshipped the wrong gods. Not because Assyria was the most brutal empire the world had ever seen. If the Sumerians had only worshipped Jehovah correctly, none of this would have happened. Now we get introduced to the villain of the film, and he's even more cartoonishly evil than the last one.
Hezekiah, you dare defy me. You not know what I will do to you.
Oh, shiver my timbers!
Hezekiah, how dare you not accept my friend request?
My brothers, we need not fear the king of Assyria and all the multitude that are with him. For there are more with us than there are with him. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is our God Jehovah to help us and to fight our battles.
But Hezekiah is not scared because he worships Jehovah, who is the true God, and all the other gods are false because they're not Jehovah.
Our king we trust in Jehovah.
Yes, Jehovah. You trust in him to save you. But if you trust in your God to save you, then why is it you bring me silver and gold so that I should turn away from you? But let us talk about Jehovah. Was not Jehovah the God of Samaria, which my father reduced to rubble?
Answer me!
Answer me!
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Jehovah, your God, is weak. He will cringe before my God Asher, just as you. Cringe before me now.
Oh, I'm definitely cringing, bro. So now the Assyrian king plans to conquer Jerusalem to play some board games, but Hezekiah uses the biggest cheat code in history to win.
You have come from Isaiah? Yes, my lord. He says, this is what Jehovah says about the king of Assyria. The virgin daughter of Zion despises you. She scoffs at you.
The daughter of Jerusalem shakes her head at you. Whom have you taunted and blasphemed? It is against the Holy One of Israel. Your rage against me and your roaring have reached my ears. So I will put my hook in your nose and my bridle between your lips, and I will lead you back the way you came.
Not gonna lie guys, I think this scene still looks pretty cool. It's just like 5 seconds, but I think the CGI artist did a really good job at showcasing this angel, you know, killing thousands of men without making a sound. I still think it looks pretty cool. It's like the only good scene in the movie.
Adar! Why are you still sleeping?
My Lord, I went to the tartan as you commanded, but he's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
Not a mark! Not a mark on them!
I was at my post, my lord, all of the night, my king. I swear it. I heard nothing. I saw nothing.
What are we to do?
My lord, who could have done this?
Please.
Jehovah! Jehovah!
It's so corny. Jehovah! Jehovah! So the king rage quits his campaign. Hezekiah looks into the sunset, and in case you didn't catch it yet, the last slide of the movie tells you the moral of the story. Jehovah protects those who are loyal to him. JWs believe that they're soon gonna be persecuted by the world's government, and that Big J is gonna come in last minute to save them, just as he did with Hezekiah. This movie was released back in 2016, just as Watchtower started to ramp up their doomsday bunker paranoia, culminating in the infamous bunker videos, which we're gonna cover one day, believe me. So JWs grow up with this bunker mentality where they expect to be persecuted any day now. Too bad Jehovah's Angel can't protect the organization from all the lawsuits going on today. Maybe he's on a holiday. Maybe he has to recharge his super OP attack he just unleashed like thousands of years ago. I give this movie 7 out of 10. It's actually not that bad. It's not too long. It looks good. The scenes were decent, but the acting is a bit corny, in my opinion. So the Hezekiah movie was pretty tame compared to the other ones. I know you want to see some violence, you dirty, dirty heathen. So let's watch some violence. And there's nothing more violent than the conquest of Canaan. This is not one word has failed. These movie titles, I swear. We're just gonna call it the Joshua movie. The Joshua movie is more of a theater play than a movie, with Joshua directly addressing the audience in the beginning, which is super strange.
Greetings. My name is Joshua.
He's kinda like Watchtower's version of Deadpool.
Jehovah said to me,
"Just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will neither desert you nor abandon you. Be courageous and strong, for you are the one who will cause this people to inherit the land that I swore to their forefathers I would give to them."
That's such a mild reaction for someone who is literally hearing the voice of God. Like, oh yeah, Jehovah, cool beans, can I start slaughtering now?
There is no need to doubt Jehovah in any matter. We may not know exactly how things will work out, but Jehovah's word will surely take place.
I love how Joshua wastes no time in telling the audience what the moral of the story is before the movie even starts. Stop doubting Jehovah, aka the governing body, even if their directions make no sense. Listen, obey, and be blessed.
Our enemy is strong, but Jehovah is stronger.
With Jehovah's help, we will succeed.
Somebody give this man a city to destroy. So you probably know the story. The two Israelite spies go undercover to Jericho and they stay in the house of Rahab the prostitute to play Scrabble or something.
I do know that Jehovah will give you the land.
Us?
Yes, I know that you are Israelites. Do not be concerned. The fear of you has fallen upon everyone in the city.
Wait, how did she know they were Israelites? Like, the only difference between them and the Gentiles was a missing piece of force. Oh.
Bring out the men who came to you.
What men? Men come and go from here at all hours of the day and night.
Get it? 'Cause she's a prostitute?
There's nothing up there but some flax drying.
If you quickly chase after them, you will catch up with them.
Come on then.
These have to be the dumbest guards in history. So the two spies manage to escape because of their plot armor, and then they tell Rahab to hang a red rope out of her window so the soldiers spare her household from the massive slaughter they're about to inflict upon the city.
Jehovah had decreed that everything in the city be destroyed, though all the silver and gold were to be delivered to his treasury. No one was to take anything for himself.
They didn't even bother with these sets. I think the Hezekiah movie took all the budget.
Achan, what is it? Why are you looking so smug?
We are rich, dear one.
Rich? What are you talking about?
See for yourselves. Give that to me. That's mine.
You have done well, my husband.
I took it from the rich, selfish, ungodly Canaanites.
Did anyone see you?
No, I was careful.
Are you sure?
Yes. No one could possibly know.
Father, this will give us a good start in the promised land.
Maybe you could use the gold to buy some better set designs. So Achan and his family hide the gold from Joshua, and Jehovah is apparently so pissed that this soldier took some of his gold that he punishes the entire nation by making them lose against the Canaanite city. So the Israelites use divination to find out who stole Big J's booty.
Finally, Jehovah revealed the disobedient man. My son.
My lord?
Please, honor Jehovah, the God of Israel, and make confession to him. Tell me, please, what you have done. Do not hide it from me.
For a fact, I am the one who sinned against Jehovah, the God of Israel. When I saw among the spoil of Jehovah an official garment from Shinar, such a good-looking one.
And?
Yes, and 200 shekels of silver.
Go on.
Yes, and 1 gold bar weighing 50 shekels.
Achan, why did you take them?
I desired them. For a fact, I have sinned against Jehovah, the God of Israel.
Alright, well, the guy confessed, and he got a little greedy, like we all do, but he's ready to repent and give back what he stole. Surely, Jehovah, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, in his infinite mercy, will help his beloved son see the evil of his ways and fix his path. Oh wait, he's dead. They stoned him and his family and burned them. God is love, by the way.
Why have you brought disaster upon us? Jehovah will bring disaster upon you on this day. Nedabiah, take them away.
Bah.
Jehovah warned that willful disobedience brings bad consequences. Achan's case shows that in this way too, Jehovah's word never fails.
Except when it does, when God changes his mind, like he did with Hezekiah in 2 Kings 20. He told the dude he would die, then Hezekiah puts up a scene with tears and everything, and God changes his mind and gives him 15 more years of life. Or when Jehovah is about to hit the Control-C button on the entire nation of Israel, and Moses convinces him to spare them. Jehovah's word fails all the time because it changes all of the time. Jehovah was willing to spare King Manasseh after he sacrificed infants and sawed the prophet Isaiah in half, but he couldn't change his mind on Achan and his family because apparently stealing his gold and some pretty coat is an unforgivable offense. Oh, but God is love, by the way.
But what of the Canaanites? Jehovah gave his word that they would be destroyed. This also came true.
Some family-friendly entertainment. Then we get to the story of the Gibeonites, who pretend to be foreigners living in a faraway land, and somehow manage to trick Joshua into agreeing to not destroy their city. Later on, when Joshua figures out he's been bamboozled by them, he condemns them to a lifetime of slavery. Well, I guess it's better to pick up sticks all your life than to get your throat slashed, am I right? Then a few cartoon villains find out about the Gibeonites' betrayal and scheme a plot to destroy them.
Counselors, what are we to do? You know the situation. The whole city of Jebus is in turmoil. The people are paralyzed with fear.
It is true, my lord the king.
I haven't slept for 3 nights.
May Baal grant you peace, O king.
Peace? Israel has crossed the Jordan and defeated Jericho and Ai. Soon they will be at our gates.
3 weeks later.
Baal is stronger than Jehovah. Has not Baal blessed us for all the sacrifices we have offered him? He will protect us.
Why didn't Baal protect Jericho and Ai, priest? Didn't they have enough sacred orgies? Sacrifice enough of their children?
Sacred orgies. Just imagine being a Jehovah's Witness with little kids, watching this dumpster fire, and then your sheltered ass kid turns to you and asks, "Daddy, what is an orgy?" How the fuck did this make it into the final cut? Who approved this movie? So the 5 Amorite kings get together to destroy the Gibeonites, but spoiler alert, they fail to do so because the Gibeonites have now acquired Jehovah plot armor.
Once again, Jehovah's word came true. As the kings and their armies ran away from before us, Jehovah hurled great hailstones on them, so that more died from the hail than from the swords of our fighting men. But the sun was starting to set. It was then that I called out to Jehovah before the eyes of Israel, saying, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon over the valley of Aijalon." So the sun stood still, and the moon did not move until the nation could take vengeance on its enemies.
This dude is a complete psychopath. And as if it wasn't clear enough already, he has to tell us the moral of the story one more time.
And the most important thing I have learned? I can testify with all my heart and with all my soul that not one word out of all the good promises that Jehovah has spoken, not one word has failed, and not one word ever will. They will all come true.
The Canaanites were destroyed, kind of, so all of our crazy doomsday predictions are sure to come true. That's the moral of the story, guys. I give this film 2 out of 10 They put zero effort in the sets, the source material is a bloody mess, and they broke the greatest rule in storytelling history: show, not tell. They could have shown the walls of Jericho falling down or the sun standing still, which would make for some incredible scenes, but they chose to tell those stories through an old man. That is unforgivable. Well, here's a story we all know and love, Jonah and the Giant Fish. It's just one of those stories that is really easy to adapt into children's books. The story of Jonah is the one Watchtower film that I think is actually good. It's well shot, decently acted, and the best part is that it's a self-contained story. It's a good film because it's a character study. Our protagonist Jonah is commanded by God to go to Nineveh to preach and to tell them that their city is about to be destroyed. But Jonah nopes out of his assignment and starts traveling the opposite way. But God says "nuh-uh" and sends a storm to punish Jonah, and then he sacrifices himself to the sea. But instead of letting him die, God makes a big fish swallow Jonah, spit him out in the beach. And then Jonah's like, alright, I guess I'll go preach. So once he gets to Nineveh, he starts preaching destruction, and to his surprise, people actually listen to him. The people repent, the king repents, even the cows repent. And God decides to cancel his campaign against the city. Jonah is hella pissed because he wanted to see some action, and he knew that God would forgive them eventually, and that's why he didn't want to go preach. He throws a temper tantrum.
Oh, Jehovah, let me die! Take my life! It is better for me to die than to live.
Is it right for you to be so angry over the bottle gourd plant?
I have a right to be angry! So angry I want to die!
And God uses a little plant and a little worm to teach Jonah to be more compassionate. I don't know if I've told you this before, guys, but I think the book of Jonah is one of my favorite books in the Bible. It's a really smart satire because it flips our expectations of what these characters should do. You know, the rebellious prophet, the evil sinners who repent. It's satire. It's a very smart piece of literature, and I think this movie does a good job at just telling the story, and it actually doesn't introduce a lot of Jehovah's Witness lingo into the story, which I think is the biggest compliment I can give it. I really don't have nothing bad to say about this movie. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's too bad that the rest of the films we're about to cover are nowhere near this good. The Daniel movie is the most recent Bible film made by Watchtower, and it follows the story of Daniel and his buddies as they try to keep things halal in Babylon. I mean, kosher. King Nebuchadnezzar, after taking one too many shrooms, has these terrifying dreams and he can't figure out what they mean. So Daniel uses his magic powers, Jehovah powers, to decipher the dream and get super rich after doing so.
In the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed. And this kingdom will not be passed on to any other people. It will crush and put an end to all these kingdoms.
Jehovah's Witnesses must have been ecstatic during this scene. If you're not aware, some Christian sects have used the Daniel statue to calculate the arrival of the end times, and JWs are no exception. It's like a very iconic symbol in the religion. The statue represents all the world's governments, and the feet represent, catch this, the Anglo-American Empire, which will be destroyed very soon by God's kingdom, which is represented by this giant rock that is picked up and thrown by God. Like, God is like a Jedi, he can pick up objects and toss them real fast. So JWs based their entire eschatology on the visions of some pagan king.
And the king saw a watcher, a holy one, coming down from the heavens, who was saying, "Chop down the tree and destroy it."
Nebuchadnezzar has another dream involving a giant tree, and JWs used this dream to calculate the beginning of the last days to the year 1914. Yep, this is what they actually believe. In reality, the dream is not like some prophetic sign that will be fulfilled 2,000 years later. It's fulfilled almost immediately when King Nebuchadnezzar goes crazy and starts acting like an animal for 7 years, and then he regains his consciousness. That's the fulfillment of the dream. It's not like some crazy event that would take place thousands of years later.
You ponder that too deeply, you'll have a headache for sure.
So the movie has a giant time skip, and by this time, Daniel is already an old man. He's still deciphering dreams, and then this CGI hand comes out of nowhere and starts writing something on the wall when the king is having a banquet, and everyone's super scared. And then they call in Daniel, and he tells them that the kingdom is about to be overtaken. Babylon is conquered, and the king dies.
Goodbye, little sheep.
So after what seems like an eternity of bureaucracy, we finally get to the part that makes the Daniel story famous. The part where he gets thrown into a lion's den. You know, that super iconic scene that is depicted in every children's Bible book and depicted by one of the coolest Watchtower illustrations ever made. Oh boy, I'm so excited to see some incredible CGI lions after the statue scene we just saw. Surely, Watchtower is not going to fumble one of the most iconic scenes in the entire Bible.
Your God, whom you are continually serving, will rescue you.
What? That's it? That's how you're using millions of dollars in donated funds? All you did was add some lion noises? The scene takes place in the dark. It couldn't have been too difficult to CGI some lions, could it? I guess all of the budget was used for the statue scene and for all the fake ass beards they use in these movies. I want my money back.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
The movie ends with an angelic Kenny Rogers telling Daniel some more prophecies and assuring him he will resurrect one day. And of course, he's looking into a sunset. I give this movie 4 out of 10. It's boring as hell, way too long, and the fact that it has no lions is honestly an unforgivable crime. Actually, 3 out of 10. Well, our movie marathon is coming to an end, boys and girls. I know, please don't cry. But now we have the Nehemiah movies. Yippee! No, actually, we can skip this one because the most exciting thing that happens in these movies is when Nehemiah breaks a stool.
What are you doing?
Elisha?
What have you been doing? Why have you and the deputy rulers neglected the
sacred orgies?
Yeah, that's the most action we get here. And also this one funny scene where Nehemiah harasses some dude because he married a foreign woman.
Why don't you like it?
Shuvokyaki.
Come back here now!
I'm sorry, my lord. My wife speaks very little Hebrew.
Did you not swear never to marry someone who doesn't serve Jehovah?
Nehemiah, nobody cares.
Did you not?
Yes, yes!
Then why have you ignored the command of Jehovah and your own oath?
Let me go!
No wonder your children don't love Jehovah.
Least xenophobic Nehemiah moment.
Pray to Jehovah. Put faith in him and trust that he will bless your self-sacrificing efforts. Just as Jehovah gave Nehemiah the courage, the energy, the insight, and the perseverance to carry out his assignment, he'll do the same for you.
The lesson of the story? Don't give up on your theocratic assignment. If you're sick and tired of knocking on doors or going to boring meetings, pray to Jehovah so he applies some oil on that hamster wheel of yours. The end is just around the corner.
The joy of
sacred orgies
is your stronghold.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no.
The last movie we're gonna be covering is The Story of Josiah. Love Jehovah, hate what is bad. I swear these titles are gonna kill me. Who made these titles? The movie starts with the boy Josiah playing around like little boys do. And then we're introduced to his grandfather Manasseh, who tells Josiah that people who worship idols are evil.
These are the words of Jehovah's prophet Isaiah. All who form carved images amount to nothing.
This coming from a dude that, let me remind you, sacrificed his children as burnt offerings and filled Jerusalem with blood. But it's all well and good because Jehovah forgave him.
Nice.
Oh, now Manasseh is dying, but he makes little Josiah promise to worship only Jehovah because Jehovah is real and all other gods are false. And now Josiah's dad is dead. He was killed by this evil idol worshipper, of course. And the entire population of Jerusalem put their two collective brain cells together and decide to name this 8-year-old boy as their king.
Long live the king!
Long live the king!
Josiah grows up playing Link's crossbow training and he becomes a full-blown warmonger.
I have to practice, so I can defeat Jehovah's enemies.
These are the characters JW kids are supposed to look up to, by the way.
I will issue a proclamation. Let the word go forth that we will rid this land of idolatry. I've seen these cheaper.
Take it or leave it.
You keep raising your prices. We start here. This is what we will do to every false god in the land.
Josiah went from adorable kid to full-on mob boss. How is this woman gonna feed her family? You just destroyed her entire source of income.
Baal will rescue us? Father, look around. All over Judah and Jerusalem, Josiah is destroying Baal images. They can't even rescue themselves. And the people are supporting him.
Go ahead and doubt, you disrespectful child. You have become disloyal to Baal and to me, your father who gave you life.
Wait, why is this man being portrayed as the villain? He's just doing what Jehovah's Witnesses do all the time, refusing to surrender his faith in the face of persecution. Oh, but I guess it only counts when you're worshiping the correct God, right?
Please don't be fearful.
But this campaign has gone on for a year. How long do we have to endure this?
However long it takes.
How long do we have to persecute people that worship differently from us? Then in the greatest crossover in Watchtower history, Josiah meets up with none other than Jeremiah the prophet, who's super OP because he talks with Big J himself, and he shares with Josiah a very grim prophecy.
Look, a son named Josiah will be born to the house of David. And he will sacrifice on you the priests of the high places, those making sacrificial smoke on you, and he will burn human bones on you.
More human sacrifice. Nice.
He said, I will wipe out from this place every vestige of Baal, the name of the foreign god priests, along with the priests. I will call to account the princes, the sons of the king, and all those wearing foreign clothing. Neither their silver nor their gold will save them. He will bring to nothing all the gods of the earth.
Then Josiah decides to repair the temple of Yahweh, which only took him like 20 years. But then a priest finds a long-lost scroll of the law.
I've never seen these passages before.
Take the scroll to King Josiah immediately.
You should completely destroy all the places where the nations you will dispossess have served their gods. Whether on the high mountains, or on the hills, or under any luxuriant tree. You should pull down their altars, shatter their sacred pillars, burn their sacred poles in the fire, and cut down the graven images of their gods, obliterating their very names from that place.
Josiah then completely loses his mind and goes full jihad mode on the unbelievers.
This is only the beginning. With Jehovah's help, we will rid the entire land of high places. Every vestige of false worship, and of everyone who promotes it. Once we cleanse the land of Judah, we'll head north again, to the cities of Samaria.
To whom do these graves belong?
They belong to the Baal prophets, my lord.
Take their bones and burn them on the altar of King Jeroboam. Afterwards, tear it down.
Father.
My lord the king is a pale imitation of his grandfather. And now he's turned my own son against me.
That is not true. This is about standing up for what is right. Baal is powerless. Why can't you see that?
Powerless.
I wish I had sacrificed you in Topheth.
No one will ever be able to do that again. Josiah made sure of that.
And Josiah rids the land of human sacrifice by sacrificing more people. Manasseh sacrificed children, and Josiah sacrificed adults. It's crazy how these things go full circle. What a horrifying sequence. Apparently, this is what loving Jehovah means, guys. It means destroying sacred objects, desecrating tombs, and killing people who worship other gods. This is the behavior of modern terrorists. Yet Jehovah's Witnesses are encouraged to look up to these characters as examples of faith. Is that really what we should be teaching children? To be intolerant of other religions? Because that's the only lesson I could extract from this atrocity. So let me fix the title for you. Josiah's Little Jihad. There, much more fitting. I give this movie a 3 out of 10. It's well shot, the CGI in the temple looks good, but the main character is completely insufferable and the overall message is toxic as hell. Oh, and Jehovah still destroys Jerusalem like 2 generations later, so all that killing, all that sacrificing priests in the altar was ultimately for nothing. Yippee! If we could summarize the entire movie marathon we just saw in one word, it would be obedience. Obey. Even when the instructions you're given make no sense. Obey, because that's the only way Big J will protect you during Armageddon. Obey, because if you don't, God will punish you and your family severely. Obey, or God will force you to comply anyways. Obey, because the prophecies reveal that the end is just around the corner. Obey, because if you don't, you will be harassed by the elders. Obey, or you will be swept away when Jesus' big jihad arrives. Watchtower spends so much time and money on these Bible fanfiction movies because they understand the power of film. Just as the live dramas were the highlight of the conventions in the past, the movies are the highlights of today's conventions. But as you saw, some of these films are wildly inappropriate and the governing body doesn't give a shit. They just told the parents to suck it up and make their kids watch them anyways.
Sometimes you'll hear people say of a little baby, "Look at that little angel." But more accurate would be to say, "Look at that little enemy of God."
I have to practice, so I can defeat Jehovah's enemies.
Bah.
Jehovah's Witnesses are currently working on a long Jesus series. They've been teasing it for years now, but I think they're gonna release the first episode real soon. So you can be sure we're gonna be debunking that garbage real soon as well. But hey, at least we're not gonna be subjected to fake beards anymore. So guys, please let me know which was the worst movie in your opinion. Did you enjoy any of them? And please let me know the exact moment you lost the cringe challenge, because the comments are the best part of this community. I love making videos for you guys, but it does take a lot of my time and energy. So if you would like to support my work, please consider joining me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member. It's only $1 a month and you get early access to all my work. And if you become a channel member, you also get to use these really fun emojis. And please let me know which movie you would like me to cover next, because we still have a big catalog of untouched movies and they're all equally bad. As always, thank you so much for your support, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Take it easy guys, have a wonderful day, and stay away from the tower.
you love
sacred orgies.
Come pregnant, little enemy of God.